All right, good evening, friends and lovers. And it is like 12:10, I think, at night. So I'm hoping to start this new routine where I will have the card of the day ready for you guys to watch by the time you wake up. So let's get started shuffling. All right. Pater noster, quies in caelis, sanctificatum nomen tuum, adveniat regnum tuum, fiat voluntas tua, sicut et in caelo et in terra. Panem nostrum quotidianum da nobis hodie, et debita nobis debita nostra, sicut et nos debitibus debitoribus nostris, et ne nos inducas in tentationem, sed libera nos a malo. Amen. I've got one turned around in here. Well, this is my card, so the fact that it was the one turned around makes me think that this is the card of the day. This is my zodiacal card. This is Major Arcana 16, and it's called the Tower. This is the second scariest cards to get in your reading behind the devil, which is silly because there are no bad tarot cards, as we've seen. Only ones that show parts of your... God, that's really annoying, huh? Parts of your journey and enlightenment. So I won't have to do much research on this card because I've already researched the shit out of it. So, yeah, I'll be back soon. I'm back. I'm not gonna lie. Researching that tower card really made me think about some things in my own life, like it's supposed to do, and like it always does. So that kind of, I don't know, made me want to sleep on it, I guess, before I really came out with the information that I thought might be helpful for you guys. So let me see. I'm sorry, my book's right over here. My little research book, my little hospital tag on it. Alright, here we are. Alright, first I guess we'll start off with the Correspondences. So, it's called the House of God, or as an alternate English title. It also relates to the Tower of Babel, and the story that the parable of that, where in the Bible, at one point, everybody spoke the same language. And as they were building this tower to reach the heavens, which has been what towers have been made for all of eternity, the Mayans, the pyramids, I mean, they were all made to reach a heaven, which is also a very phallic symbol. The most phallic symbol, some may argue. It's called the Blasted Tower, Latin Marseille deck. The lightning struck tower. It's also called the hospital because there's a lot of healing that goes on after one tower, ivory tower, is busted. It's called the arrow, the thunderbolt, the fire, the lightning struck temple, the ruined tower. In Romance languages, it's la maison, le dieu, l'effondre, la tour, il foco, la sabata, la sagita. The Hermetic title is Lord of the Hosts of the Most Mighty, and its zodiacal glyph is the glyph for Mars. So the male glyph, the circle with the arrow. The Tree of Life Correspondences is Pei or Fei, and it almost looks like a spiral, but like a backward C with like, or it almost looks like a D, but not with a tall, and it's not connected on the bottom. it's a double Hebrew letter. The English equivalent is P. And the meaning of the letter is the mounts, so the entrance of words, which in Kabbalistic magic is very important. The spoken word, just like in the Bible, the God spoke and the earth was made. That's what magic is. That's what spells are, is speaking things into existence. That's how we manifest as light workers. It's the word is very powerful. That's why also like in the Bible it says that, you know, even if you think about murdering someone, you're just as bad as somebody who has murdered someone. So cursing people, there's a reason they call it cursing and not just cussing. It's because you are cursing somebody when you do speak ill of them in that way. I don't know if I just put a pause up. I don't know. I guess it's still recording. Okay. The number equivalent is 80 or 800, which, just like we spoke about the Two of Pentacles, with that pause still keeps coming up. I'm going to keep going. You know, the symbol for infinity, etc. Its gifts and attributes are grace and indignation. Its Sephirotic path is Netzach Tahad, and the Sephirotic path meaning is victory and glory, because, like I said, there is a healing aspect that we'll get into. The natural and magical correspondences for the animals are the wolf, the bear, the screech owl, the vulture, the scorpion, kestrels, pila, I don't know what a pila is, sturgeon, wasps, all stinging insects, pain, plants, rue, wormwood, pepper, cumin, chili, ginger, asafoetida, capers, horseradish, garlic, leeka onions, mustard radish, hops, pennyroyal, tobacco, hellebore, thistle, radish, nettle, chestnut, all thorny, and larimony plants. So, again, thorny, stinging. It's a something that brings us back to our body, into a realization of our state, where we then make a choice. Do we continue with what's comfortable, or do we try to redefine our reality into something that suits our lives better at this point? So when this card comes up in a reading, it usually symbolizes change. So this is a very potent card. So a lot of people will say that no matter what position the tower is in, it's going to affect the present. So it's a possibility for new beginnings. It's changes in lives. You know, just like the saying, you're up in your ivory tower, which means you're not in touch with what's really going on. So the fact that the tower is blasted and it's coming apart piece by piece, and the card, the Rider-Smith Waite tarot card, has two people falling head first into what some say is truth. Because this tower is built, there is no entrance. There are usually windows, and it's usually a Gothic crown around it that is being tumultuously coming over. And there's also lightning bolts, which I just heard about being like little messengers that come up again and again in the tarot book, kind of reminding us that this is a spiritual journey. This is, you know, like alchemy. It's not just related to turning, you know, stone to gold. It's also related to being enlightened from our root chakra to our crown chakra. So the fact that it's constructed out of parts means it can be deconstructed out of parts. So that means sometimes it's assigned to say, hey, and maybe like look back and see what's going on and see if there's some conversation that you can have, there's, or some way, something you can do before shit hits the fan, to keep things from really blowing up. So there's also that option too. It's a gift. It's really it's a blessing in as much as it's a warning that things are about to get nasty if you don't, really try to bring yourself back to reality, or, just keep your eye out. Just try to see where you can make changes, where you can widen your scope, where you can be more humane, where you can open your heart more. Some of the key words are disruption, upheaval, change, liberation, divine intervention, dream, pride, and catastrophe. So with destruction always comes change. And the tarot journey is all about death and rebirth cycles. So the Tower is just one of those major moments where you're shaken awake and it's very uncomfortable, but you're in such a better place at that point. Such a better place at that point that, everything's uncomfortable at first, but in order to change or do anything, we have to make that space and be uncomfortable. It represents truth and honesty, shocking or unpleasant revelation or occurrence that shocks the very foundation of a belief system or a routine. Usually it is something very uncomfortable, usually something you grew up with, like realizing your parents are just people too, and that, you have to forgive them. It's one of the hardest things to do as a child becoming an adult, realizing that your parents are just people too who made mistakes. The Tower itself represents the structures built on false and unsound ground. This tower is built to fall. This tower is built to enclose. This tower is built to give us blinders and say, no, we don't want to think about these things. So, we're going to go over here and make it comfortable. And it's not built on solid ground. So it does fall eventually. You don't build towers. You don't need towers when you're safe and you're not afraid. Towers historically are built to see further, to see the distance, so they can be messengers of what's to come, to see into the future. So this Tower card is partly trying to help us see into the future and tell us, hey, what you're doing is not working. Try to figure something else out. The lightning that occurs in the card often represents, let me see if I can see the card that I drew. It's not the Rider-Waite deck, which I'll try to edit in somewhere, but you can see there's people falling. There's usually no entrance, not in the Rider-Waite-Smith deck. Yeah, this isn't a super good rendering of it. I don't really like it at all. But yeah, it's my soul card, so yay me. So the lightning represents a sudden flash of truth, a revelation that changes the way you see things and understand the more you live your life. The falling figures are falling headfirst into truth, like I said. According to the Rider-Waite-Smith interpretation, this card warns against delusions, like I said, delusions of grandeur and lack of steadfastness. It can come to upheaval, but at the same time, there is the penetrating yet gentle encouragement to dispense one's ivory tower existence when the right time has come. The basic meaning is just like I said, the Tower of Babel is a metaphor for human megalomania. And that's always going to fall. Like, just when an empire gets too big, it falls. When things are built on unsolid ground, like Hitler, it falls. Napoleon, it falls. the U.S. is gonna fall. It's built on money, and I can't help but, I don't want to trigger anybody, but the Twin Towers, when they were destroyed, that was a call where we could have maybe stopped wars, stopped fighting, become self-sufficient. But instead, we buckled down and went harder, and see where we are today. So that's always also an option with the tower. You can double down and go harder on yourself, but that's not what the card is trying to tell us to do. The card is just trying to warn us from an even deeper fall that we may experience. So, the spiritual understanding is a direct communication from heart to heart. So, when you do destroy your ivory tower, you are there to experience things as they are in reality. Your heart is able to be open and be with somebody else's. As for the card of the day, put all your energy, put in all your energy, and consciously breathe. Everything will be okay. Everything happens for a reason. The more you can consciously and the more consciously and directly, the more you will experience and love and protect against aggressive demands. And for success and happiness, live your development as if it were an experiment. Keep your eyes open all the time. For me, I have a very old dog, and stop it, Pluto. My one dog is suffering from a little dermatitis. Pluto, don't lick baby. I'm going to try and get him some vitamins. I'm adding egg to his food. I'm doing everything I can. But I have an older dog that she's got big tumors, and she's seizing a lot. And I'm having to keep her on huge amounts of CBD just to keep from, seeing her in pain and stuff. And what I really need to do is take her and let her go and release her from her miserable existence. She's blind and she's deaf and she's seizing all the time, and when she's not, she's sleeping, and when she's up, she's panting, which means she's in pain. And I keep thinking, well, if we could just get this tumor drained, maybe her eyesight would come back. Maybe it's the toxins, but it's not. It's just her time, and that's gonna be scary for me, because there's gonna be a space where she used to be in my heart that's not there anymore. And that's scary, but that's room for me to grow, too. Right? So I have to face reality, and I'm more sad for my mom because it's her dog, and we've had her for 15 years or 16 years or something, and she's moved with us multiple times. She's been a wonderful dog. Thank you, Frankie. She's my mom's familiar. She was a red-nosed, black and brown color, half border collie, half Australian shepherd, the small one. She's been such a good girl our whole life. She's never been a cuddler like Pluto or anything. She's always been a working girl, and she grew up on some property when I was younger, up until really I was 23 or so. We had acreage and horses and stuff, so she grew up running around, doing her thing. So she had a really good life. And my mom always made sure to come home and walk her whenever we did have to move into an apartment. And, now we live in a house, and so she's had a backyard and all that. So instead of listening to me justify why I have to put my dog down or why I shouldn't, I'll let you guys go and just think about what ivory towers you may have made for yourself, and think about those uncomfortable places. Think about the shadow work you may need to do, because sometimes
we can always get better, and sometimes we just need to really shake it off or have that hard conversation to make things better. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much. Please hit like, subscribe, whatever. Follow me on Instagram. Please give me a tip if you'd like to see more, because, you know, I'm trying to figure out how to work from home, because I'm autistic and I've worked up until I was 27, but the social anxiety and okay, enough about myself. I'm sorry. I hope you all have a wonderful, blessed day, and just keep your eyes open. There's always room for change. Thank you so much.